Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's time once again. It's time for that podcast heard, well, around a few places, by tens of listeners. It's time for the Department of Understanding Humans, the podcast. That's right, the podcast, featuring your ringmasters for the day, that stupendous giggle-snorting gal, Friday herself, Rachel Wynn, and now her co-host actually has a name, that cranky clown you love to adore, Kris Meyer. And on with the show!
D.U.H, Department of Understanding Humans, yeah!
Yup! Hi! Hey, how you doing?
Good morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's morning.
It's morning. It's so morning.
Here we are once again.
Ta-da.
Bringing you the fun that you need to start your week.
The fun that is duh.
Duh. It's good.
It's good. That's good. Oh man, I stayed up late last night.
What, past 10 o'clock?
Past 10 o'clock. I went AWOL last night. Yeah. Let me learn you something.
Did you go on a drunken bender with Johnny McEnroe?
No, God, that was last weekend.
Well,
I can't do that fun. 2 weekends in a row. Did he go on a drunken bender this weekend?
No, that's sorry. Mr. Deeds was on TV this morning.
Oh, okay. No, I ended up when I got done from work. It was just one of those days where I just sat in front of the TV and got into a series and just kept watching it. And
what was the series?
Blue Bloods.
Really? With Tom Selleck?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good show.
That's a really good show. So yeah, it's good stuff. Good stuff.
I like it mainly because it's got Tom Selleck. And let's face it, Tom Selleck is still a cool guy.
Tom Selleck is a pretty cool dude.
I don't care who you are. If you like him, you don't like him. He handles himself well. He always carries himself well. And gosh darn it, he's just a handsome man. He
is a very handsome man. He's a big guy. He's a tall dude. Big guy.
Could have been Indiana Jones back in the day.
I think he would have been too tall for Indiana Jones.
No, he was actually the choice for Indiana Jones, but he couldn't get out of doing Magnum. Yeah, he couldn't get out of doing Magnum PI. The contract with Magnum PI was like, nope, we're not letting you go do this movie.
Oh, see the little things that you'll learn here on Duh.
Yeah, pop culture stuff.
Hey.
Useless trivia. If you want to know useless trivia and backstory, so come see me because my God, my head's crammed full of it. And it just won't leave. So
I watched almost all of season 3 last night, and I just did not go to bed until almost 2 o'clock in the morning. And I'm an idiot for doing that because I can't. I'm old. I can't stay up past 9. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I'm with you. By 10 o'clock some nights, it's like, bed.
Yeah. And, the Hubs has to get up at like 5 o'clock in the morning every morning. And so in order to sort of help him with his schedule, I have to go to bed pretty close to when he goes to bed because he now has the husband syndrome where he has a hard time sleeping without me in the bed.
Right. Yep. I'm experiencing that same thing.
I know you have, which is one of the reasons why I'm commiserating with you on this. I think what's funny is I have a hard time falling asleep sometimes, and the minute I lay down, he's out. And I'm like, great. Now I can't fall asleep at all because of the snoring. So I turn on, I get echo, and I have her turn on like ocean sounds or wind chimes or babbling brooks or whatever.
Right.
And I make sure the fan is on. And I make sure the AC is low. And I'm like, okay, perfect environment to go to sleep. And
oh yeah, you gotta listen. The room has to be like an icebox.
It does. So at some point this morning, I woke up. Let's see, I went to bed at like 1:30 And I woke up probably around 5 because that's when we're used to waking up at 5, right?
Right.
Because he has to leave the house by 6:30 because he works a 10-hour day and he's not home until after 7, right? So then I end up getting up and I stay up and I do stuff in the morning and then I go to work at 9. I log in at 9. And so this morning I wake up and I'm like, okay, it's the normal time, regardless of what time I went to bed. My body goes, hey, guess what? You're supposed to be up right now and going to the bathroom. So get up, go, bye. So I do. And I come back to bed and everything's fine. Well, at some point he had gotten up in the middle of the night and turned the heat on. And I was like, what are you doing, dude? Why is it so hot in here? He's like, I turned the heat on. Why? It's freezing outside. I don't care. It's stuffy and hot in here. I can't breathe. And I've got a Maggie ticked into my back. Like
right, exactly. So ultra heat is going
I'm like So then I had a hard time falling back asleep. Eventually I did, but now I'm up and like he went to Bojangles and got chicken and biscuits. Have you ever had their chicken and biscuits?
When I lived in North Carolina, Bojangles was the place to go.
Okay, so I am not a huge fan of Bojangles. There's a couple reasons why. One,
lay it on me, because I'm with you. Once you leave North Carolina, because that's where they are, they suck once you get past the border.
They're greasy.
Yeah.
They're greasy. Their chicken is not that good. The texture of it is really weird. The biscuits are okay-ish. Yep. But they're also kind of greasy. Not buttery. Not buttery like McDonald's. Not buttery like Chick-fil-A.
Lard.
Is it lard?
For whatever, and I'm sorry, and I have kind of said this in our own area. The Bojangles near us sucks. It is the poorest run fast food place I've ever been to.
And that's the other thing. The customer service up here is horrible. Horrible.
Now, I lived in North Carolina, which that's where they're headquartered. That's where they are. You couldn't beat Bojangles. I mean, boom, boom, boom. That was like, okay, we want chicken. We're going to go to Bojangles. Okay. You get out of the state and you go further where they have made their, hey, we're going to go all over the Southeast. They suck.
Yeah, they're just
terrible.
Not that
the food's
good.
Terrible. The customer service is terrible. You wait. And I hate to tell you, it's fast food. There's a reason for it. You're supposed to be in and out, boom, boom, boom. And I've gone on and, told people my experiences at Bojangles, and I've had managers from other stores going, oh, please give us another chance. No, I'm not giving you another chance.
Yeah, they're just gross.
You had it.
So he got them this morning, and I was hungry, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to eat it. It's going to be fine. And so I had the chicken, egg, and cheese, and I knew, oh, God. And I got halfway through it, and I'm like,
greasy.
Oh, God. So I'm looking up the ingredients. What I want to know is, are they using lard in their stuff? Because if they are, then we've made a huge mistake. Because isn't lard...
I believe they are using, Crisco or something.
Crisco is vegetable. Lard is pig. There's a specific...
I always say lard because, okay. I'm going to deviate from our story.
Oh my God, they use MSG.
Yep, see, there you go. The reason my grandmother was not a great cook, my dad's mom, she really wasn't a great cook, okay? But there were a few things that she had that were signature dishes that she made that you always wanted, you always craved. She could bake. Holy shit, my grandmother could bake. Nobody could top her chocolate chip cookies, really. The only person that really can top them is Cole. That's the only person who has come close to my grandmother's chocolate chip cookies. But
nice.
Anyway, moving on to that. She used to make fried pork chops. Okay? Oh. And
back in the day when I ate pork. Oh, God.
Yeah. Bone in, and I've never been able to duplicate it. Bone in fried pork chops. And I'm talking thick, big chops. And I never really paid attention to how she did it until my aunt shared the recipe. Buttermilk, egg, flour, cornmeal, and then crushed up potato chips was the recipe, along with bacon drippings to fry them in.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, she would save the bacon she would fry for the morning, collect the grease, the drippings, and then grease the pan later to fry the pork chops in the bacon grease. So yes, my friends, I grew up with my grandmother cooking with technically lard, pig fat. And it was good. But it's not that good for you. And if you don't know how to cook with it, then it's terrible. Anyway.
Okay, so as I'm listening to you, I'm pulling up information, and one thing says, "Oh, hey, yeah, there's lard, blah blah blah," and then it says, the nutritional information says plain biscuits have no cholesterol, so they couldn't contain lard, and probably use vegetable shortening instead.
Right.
So, and the reason I kind of went, "Oh no," is because we eat kosher.
Right, because that's your household.
Right, and so we can't have anything with pork in it, including lard. So,
such a shunda.
Oh my God, it's so verklemting. Ay vey.
Just don't go to Bojangles anymore. If you're gonna do it, just listen. You're in Atlanta. You're in Georgia, the home of Chick-fil-A.
I know. Just go to Chick-fil-A. It's just Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A. So speaking of chickens,
go ahead.
What has been going on this week in the news?
Where do you want to start?
Well, what have you got?
Well, Trump vetoed the vote against the wall. He vetoed that and said, "Nip, get it."
Wait, so they vetoed his declaration of emergency and he vetoed their veto?
Right, they voted against it, and he used his veto, his first veto, to go, "Nip, done it." Yedge.
How's that again?
So, Yedge. Nip, Melania. It's the best country ever.
Ever.
We're going to do it, Melania. Yes, the Donald. Do you agree with me?
The Don.
My contract says I must agree with you. There you go, baby. There you go. Kiss the daddy. Annie. So anyway, no, I'm not trying to disparage our president, because guess what? Everybody does it.
Yeah.
However, I'm not a fan of this. I'm not a fan of taking money to build a wall. Now, I understand he's fulfilling his campaign promises. I get that side of it. But on the other side, he's following a precedent that was set from Obama and all his vetoes to take money for foreign aid that we didn't really want to do.
Right.
And now he's doing it for us. I understand he spent it on us, but it's the precedent I don't agree with. It just is that absolute precedent.
Well, so he's basically on the same railroad that they were on, and you know, in order to. But here's the thing, and I guess I guess I'm kind of torn, because I'm in the situation of, hey, it's for us this time.
Right. I'm the same way. It's like, hey, you know what? He's spending it for us, but I'm just kind of going, God, the manner in which this is going about, I'm not a fan of.
It is a little it really could be handled better. It could be handled better. And there's other ways to make this happen. Now, I also understand, as far as if you think about like a wolf pack, when a new alpha is in the pack, they have to assert certain behaviors in order to establish their leadership. So if you think about it in the human context, they have been, quote unquote, air quotes, they have been really railing Trump since he got into office. Actually, since he got elected, before even swearing in.
Before he got elected.
Yeah, I mean, they've been giving him crap this entire time. And so at some point, do I think this is an ego trip rather than a decision that's best for the country? Yeah. But do I also think...
it's an ego trip. Sorry.
But do I also think that the ends justifies the means in this one? Maybe. But... It does kind of go, okay, this isn't very nice. I don't like this very much, but do what you will. I mean, it's just, it's almost like he's using this as an example to remind them of who he is and why he's here. And on some level, since the swamp needs to be drained, this is absolutely bringing more BS to the surface, where these people are going to have to deal with the truth of what the Democrats and the left liberals and all, what they have brought to the table.
Now, wait a minute. It wasn't.
No. I know the Republicans. Yeah, there was a handful of Republicans that said no, and I understand why. So I can see both sides of this. You know what I mean? And I can't really agree or disagree with either one, because both sides have a very valid reason for saying yes and for saying no. I personally, it doesn't feel great, but I get it. He's the president, and this is one of those moments where I'm just gonna have to defer to the leadership. Like, look, dude, you're on the line for this.
Right, exactly. And I got news for people, and I keep hearing, you didn't impeach me. Okay, you've tried it now 3 or 4 times, and it's failed. The best way, if you don't want the man in office, vote him out. Let it all play out. Now, it's going to hurt, and it's a big hurt that'll hurt your ego and hurt everything. Maybe it will do some damage to the country. We just don't know, because nobody predicts the future. You have to let things play out. And if it starts going south, guess what? Enough people will go, you know what? I'm tired of this shit, and they'll vote him out. Right,
but when they vote him out with smarts. Vote him out educationally. Don't make an educated vote. Don't make a popular vote based on what you think.
Don't join the mass consensus and go along with the rest of the sheep on social media. And, oh yeah, this is a good idea. Anyway, moving on from that. I do want to touch on this a little bit because of the size and scope and impact of this. Christchurch, New Zealand is a city smaller than Birmingham, Alabama. And you never hear about anything happening in New Zealand because New Zealand's probably one of the more peaceful places on the planet. And what happened there, it is sick and tragic that someone was filled with that much hate. And it's just evil. There's no other way to describe it. It was just pure evil. Seeing the... Now, I didn't see the thing that he posted on social media where it was a live feed, and I kind of want to look at Facebook and go, where are you guys? You let this go on for 40 minutes.
But see, that's the thing. Facebook's done this before. Okay, so
they've done it before.
Here's the interesting fact. Facebook was down like 2 days ago, supposedly working on servers. Right.
All their things connected. Everybody was
Instagram, everything. Everybody was like, "Oh my god, what am I going to do without my social media?" I was like, "Hey, woot!" I was working. I don't care. But this isn't the first time that Facebook has done something like this, where they have allowed something horrible to air. I mean, there was a gang rape. There was a beating of a handicapped boy. I mean, there's a shooting. I think there was a couple other things that they've done, but those are 2 that I know of. But it's just like now, of course, there this attack. Now I had seen some of the breaking news, right? And I didn't know. I didn't know too much about it, and so I just pulled it up on the New York Times. Apparently, 49 people were shot to death at 2 mosques in the city of
2 mosques,
Christchurch.
and then he drove around just randomly opening fire at people.
They've apparently gotten a 28-year-old man from Australia who was charged with murder and appeared Saturday morning in the Christchurch courtroom. Now, Christchurch is the city. For those of you who are listening, in New Zealand, it's the city. So,
and New Zealand just pretty much just has like not even a billion. I mean, it maybe has 4 million, 5 million people.
New Zealand
it's not a big place.
It's not a big place. There was a second man who was 18, was charged with intent to excite hostility or ill will. So there was more than one person involved.
I believe so.
And there was a manifesto.
The manifesto that he printed out. He cited, some of the people in Virginia. He cited some of the people here in the States that have, done things like the gentleman that shot up the synagogue.
Yeah.
He was citing him. Some of the video that the news was able to show that was streaming shows him now, and I hate to tell people, oh, he had an assault rifle. No, he didn't have an assault rifle. It was just a single shot magazine clip rifle. So it wasn't a. It just pow,
but
pow,
see,
pow, 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 pow.
The AR-15s that they were using in some of the other instances, they are single shot, aren't they?
They are single. They can go to a repeat or a single shot, but it's not a fast, like military machine gun.
Okay, so but it's not an automatic weapon. It's a semi-automatic weapon. And it's not rapid fire. It's
right.
Okay.
Right.
But you can cycle through the shot quickly, so if people who are uneducated as to the sound of a rapid fire weapon, you can hear the shots quite close together, so you think it's a rapid fire.
Right, exactly.
Which is why people think these AR-15s are so dangerous. And it's
please, I'm not getting on a gun kick here.
No, I'm not getting on a gun kick either.
Understand what he was using.
My thing though is
shotgun.
Yeah, and a shotgun. And so apparently some of the victims were children, and it's sad. It's horrible. I just
the worst I saw was a woman who was down at the temple, the mosque, trying to find her husband, and the BBC was there, and I watched some of the BBC news coverage of it, and she goes, I still haven't heard from my husband. I don't know where he is. They can't identify him. Right, wrong, or indifferent, I don't hate Muslims as a people. I don't hate the religion. I hate the people that pervert the religion. I hate the people that pervert it for their own needs. But it just amazes me how we can fuel hate over something. And I think this is just building and building and building.
Okay, so one of the shooter's goals was to, quote, cause the gun rights of responsible New Zealanders to be attacked. It said, quote, our prime minister is now capitulating with him. And so apparently this really is an echo of people not understanding healthy gun ownership echoing from the States to another country. Because now they're doing the same. They're doing now. This to me now. I am not well versed in this entire situation, but this to me right now sounds like this person was this a hate crime, or was he doing this to literally attack gun rights?
Well, if he did it to attack gun rights, he did it in the opposite thing, because now the prime ministers are really going to take a hard stance on gun control and everything else in New Zealand. So I don't know.
Okay, I'm sorry. Let me correct myself while I'm recording. The terrorist attack appeared to have been carried out by a white nationalist who posted a racist manifesto online and streamed live video of the killings on Facebook. So it is a racial thing.
Yeah, that's what I.
God, that is
from what
so
I watched yesterday. That's
gross.
God. I don't know what you mean. There's no words for this, honestly. there really and truly are no words for what happened.
This is so sad.
That's what's going on in our world.
So here's...
And people think it's here. People think...
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Here.
I got news for you. It's happening everywhere. And
well,
I don't think this is going to be the end of it either.
Well, no, because France wasn't the end of it. The Paris attacks weren't the end of it. I mean, it's...
London.
Oh, God. London, oh... Wow.
So,
just...
Anyway, so, okay, we just want to take a moment, think about what's going on in the world. Don't hate your neighbor. You can dislike your neighbor. And nobody has to like everybody.
No.
But live and let live. That's my only message. Anyway, so in a little bit more comedic news as we move on.
Yes.
A little bit. Let's put a little funny since we had a little sad.
Yeah.
Full House star Lori Loughlin has lost all her deals on the Hallmark Channel. Why? Because, those kids just needed to get in college.
I thought our white privilege took care of that.
Well, no, and everybody's up in arms. Oh, that's just so terrible that these people paid colleges to get their kids. Really? Let me kind of paint a picture for you of what has been going on for the last, 70 years. Where do you think some of those effing buildings come from that are like, oh, Mr. Mellon, to Mellon's School of Business, if we take a little back to school page out of there. Somebody's father or mother or trust fund baby with rich family. Oh, my child's failing college? Well, let's just put a little donation here. How do you think they got through or got in or got ahead?
I guess
it's been happening for the longest time.
It really has. And that's the thing. I'm like, this is just coming to light now?
And people are going, oh, it's so shocking. Really?
Where do you think they got the idea for all these really, stupid movies of Hollywood elite buying passes for their kids?
Where the hell have you been? Now, I will say this. It's a punch in the gut to kids who work their ass off to get there and then get denied. To have, to have Hollywood kids to get fancy diplomas,
and they're getting
and I mean it's a lot of universities too, which is not
Berkeley,
but you kind of go whoa.
You see Berkeley's named in that.
Forest.
Yeah, there's a bunch of really decent colleges that a lot of people have gone. I'm like, wait a minute, are you kidding me? And so have you seen all the memes about like the Full House? Or like, we're gonna go get Aunt Becky out of jail now. Yeah.
They've got like Michelle, one of the Olsen's twins, who was as a little girl with her guns going, come on, dude, we're gonna go
break out mom. So. Lori, is it Lori? Lori Loughlin. She's the biggest, like, everybody's making the most information on her. Like, everybody's making the most whatever, biggest stink. But there's more. There's, I mean, even Joe Montana had a finger pointed at him. He denies it. Oh, yeah!
Now, if they're pointing fingers at Joe Montana, he didn't get into he didn't get into Notre Dame. I hate to tell you, I think his football playing abilities got him into Notre Dame.
But he denies it. They're pointing fingers at a lot of people. So Felicity Huffman and Lori Loughlin are the most well-known figures that have been a part of this. But there's more. And there's more schools involved.
There's a shock. There's more schools involved.
There's so many schools.
Oh my goodness! Really? No.
So I once again take the stance.
No,
listen.
Don't tell me.
In light of this, okay, this gives me even more ammo for my identity crisis. I identify as somebody who is debt-free. Scott, so therefore, student loans, it was nice doing business with you. I owe you nothing. Thank you. No wonder my student loans were so high. Lori Loughlin was paying for her kids to go.
Everybody goes, oh, how could this happen? And I don't know, I was talking to somebody the other day about it, and I went, let me kind of paint you a story that happened when I was in college. One of my friends, I'm not going to say their name, was failing badly and going to fail out of college. But lo and behold, they got their sheepskin, and there was a new building built for one of the business departments. Now, I won't say where this gentleman's father worked for, but, there were a couple of boards that he sat on in the Carolinas and East Coast that were pretty well known. But, as he was failing out of college, all of a sudden he got his diploma, and man, an amazing new building for the business department just seemed to have gotten built.
And the bottom line is this only hurts the student.
Exactly.
And it could ultimately hurt society because you're getting people, pumped out into the system that don't know what the hell they're doing. We've got...
And if you don't believe us, look at what's going on today.
Oh, God.
Okay? Anyway, no, I'm teasing about that.
No, but it's true. Look at the millennials and this generation that have come out of colleges recently, and all they know how to do is puke rhetoric from the wrong location. And it's rhetoric, and that's what it is.
Indoctrination.
It is very much an indoctrination.
Now, when I went to college, yes, we did have some professors that were wanting to put their will upon you. Do as we tell you. And there were a lot of educators that went, no, we need to challenge you. You need to think. Mm-hmm. You need to open up. There's less of that going on. There's less mind opening and more indoctrination going on. And the teachers that want to open your mind are so frustrated with the system.
They're fighting. Yeah.
There's one teacher that I talked to, a good friend of ours, who said all they want us to do is give them bubble tests, fill in a bubble. That's it. You know how many times a year we have to have them take a bubble test? I
was watching a documentary on that, and they were talking about how, as a teacher, they have their own plan to try and help teach the curriculum and help the children legitimately learn. But then there's all of these, and this is in California specifically, there's all of these state regulated tests that they have to take, and they're scheduled at specific times of the year. So the teachers end up having to schedule their curriculum around those testing times because they only have a small window that they actually can teach the child and work with the child. And then they have to test prep, and then they have to take the test, and then they have to, so that the window for the testing interferes with the normal curriculum. That was actually recently, like within the last 6 months or something, where the teachers had gone on strike. And that was one of the reasons why, was because they were understaffed, they were overpopulated, teacher to student ratio, and the kids weren't getting the kind of help that they needed. They weren't getting the one-on-one. Like, it was like one teacher to every 20 something students, and the teacher could only get to one student every 3 minutes or something. And 3 minutes isn't enough time to sit with a student. And so then you have students who are acting out because they need help. And then they end up getting sent to the office, or they end up getting suspended or whatever. There's more police presence on some of the school campuses for security purposes.
Right.
Then there are nurses. There's one nurse 1 day a week in some of them. So yeah. Anyway, it's just, the whole thing is just crazy. Everything's just going nuts. I mean, I'm looking at the headlines. I'm looking at the headlines here on Google News, and I can't even touch it. Like, I mean, but there's Apple Watch could save your life. Android Q might let customers blah blah blah. Felicity Huffman and Lauren Laughlin sued for $500 billion in the college admission scam. Hey, there's your money for the wall. MCU.
Yeah, exactly.
The MCU can't seem to replicate this part of Marvel Comics, going on and on and on and on.
Oh, and by the way, Disney rehired James Gunn.
They did.
Yeah, they rehired James Gunn for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. You know, there was it's just a whole bunch of stuff that was not true or whatnot. And
Didn't they fire him because of tweets he made like years ago?
Like years and years and years ago, you know. Hang on a second. I'm digging into the story now.
Yahoo!
Yeah, I'm looking at the news report right now. You know, Disney, they cut ties with him 8 months ago. He told a joke that involved like a rape joke, and it's a bad taste, but he made it years ago.
Right.
Okay. And then they fired him. They're like, "Oh, well, you're out. You're gone." And the cast of the movie, when they said they fired him, they're all like, "Okay, well, guess what? Let's get ready to Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Let's go." And the stars, all the ones that are big, just went, "Nope." What do you mean? No. No, we got to get the movie. No. So the people that he put in this movie, the stars, all stood behind it. It was like, no, you made the wrong decision.
Oh, they didn't want to do the movie without him.
They didn't want to do the movie without him.
Oh.
And they all said, get ready to get some new people because we ain't doing it. I think the other side of it is, now it's foolish because he made jokes. He didn't do anything. He made jokes, and he said bad jokes years ago. Okay?
Right, and that was way before the Me Too movement. That was way before a whole lot of this stuff was suddenly wrong, because back in the day, some of those jokes were funny. They're still funny.
And guess what? People can change.
Yes.
People can change in a long period of time. The other side is also Warner Brothers said, "Oh, we really don't care about what you said 20 years ago. Come on over here and directing our superhero films." And so his next outing is going to be for the Suicide Squad sequel.
So how does that work? Like they can't contractually apply. They can't force him to stay with one studio, right? I mean, a director's a director's a director.
Unless he does a contract with them, he stays with one studio.
Like Spielberg has done movies for multiple studios.
Right, exactly. Spielberg's done stuff for Warner. He's done stuff for Universal. He's done stuff for Paramount. It's at the time who you're contracted with. You do a number of pictures, a number of films, and then you're done. Okay, then you're done. Then they can renegotiate your contract. Like, okay, we'll use the Marvel guys.
Okay.
Robert Downey Jr., Chris Hemsworth, Chris Evans, they're at the end of their contracts with Marvel Studios. Okay, that's why he's not going to do Captain America anymore. He's at the end. Robert Downey Jr. said, I can't do Iron Man anymore. And Hemsworth now is renegotiating because he says, you know what, I want to continue on as Thor. And that's why the movie's all ending, okay? Not ending, but their part is ending.
Right.
It's a contract. So when they released Gunn from Guardians of the Galaxy, he was free. He was a free gunfighter. Quote, quote, heh, heh. And he was literally
I see what you did there.
Hire,
I see what you did there. You're funny.
So Warner said, hey, great. You have 2 successful effing movies with these people. Come here, please help us. Please, oh God, we're failing so bad with our superhero movies except for Wonder Woman, but please help us. So now Disney has realized, oh shit, we shot ourselves in the foot. And they had to get him back. Bottom line, they realized, oh man, look at what we did. So they got him back.
Okay. So yeah.
And that's the way things work.
That's how things go in this world.
When you have, and this is kind of a life lesson to some people, when you take care of people that are around you and you treat them fairly and you're good to them and they're good to you, you can go on in this world and you will never have a greater, let's say, force behind you than loyal people. And if you keep loyal people to you and you respect their loyalty to you, there's not a lot that will hurt you in this world.
Right.
Because let's face it, you had Dave Bautista, you had Zoe Saldana, you had Chris Evans, even, or not Chris Evans, Chris Pratt went, yeah, no, I don't know if I want to do that. What? No, you're the star of the movie. Yeah, I know, but
maybe not.
Maybe not. Dave Bautista, he goes, no, I'm not wearing green paint. But Dave, you're like a big part of it. I know. You can get James Gunn back. I mean, hell, his brother, God, and I can't think of his brother.
I know who he's one of the
He's one of the Ravagers, and now he's got Yondu's Michael Rooker's arrow and everything else. He's gonna continue on as like that kind of role.
Yeah,
they're like, yeah, so we're gonna get ready. He goes, no. They all across the board went, no,
because they know what they're missing out if they don't have
the
him.
chemistry is there.
Yeah,
the magic and the chemistry is there.
So back to some weird political stuff.
Oh no.
Who is Beto O'Rourke? Apparently he's a presidential candidate.
Yeah, and he was a former hacker or something. Beto, I'm starting to learn about Beto, and I feel sad for my ignorance about this because generally I'm a little bit more on top of things. But this guy's kind of coming out of nowhere. It's almost like the Dems found somebody that just went, hey, is he Democrat?
He's a former, let's see, I just pulled it up. Former Texas Congressman Beto. Is it Beto or Beto? Like Beto O'Rourke.
Beto O'Rourke.
His colorful past has helped fuel the presidential campaign he launched last week. His resume includes time spent in a punk band. And as revealed...
God, it's the male or Ocasio-Cortez.
And as revealed in... I can't read when you say shit like that. Okay. As revealed in a piece by Reuters on Friday, membership in an early hacker collective called the Cult of the Dead Cow. According to... This is a joke, isn't it? According to Reuters reporter Joseph Menn, there is no indication that the teenage O'Rourke engaged in the edgiest sorts of hacking activity, like breaking into computers while part of the group, but his participation did include creating short pieces of writing known as text files under a nom de plume. Archived versions of the writings attributed to O'Rourke's alias, Psychedelic Warlord, include one that criticized some women as sluts, mocked them for having violent boyfriends, and suggested a way to deal with these women was to call them completely ugly or inform Nazi skins in your area that they have AIDS. This guy is a presidential candidate? What the fuck?
Wow.
Okay, so wait, I'm trying to see.
Not so bad, is he? Holy shit.
Wait, really? I'm sorry. Say that again when I'm not laughing over you. What did you just say?
Trump's not looking so bad, is he?
Right? Okay.
I think I can put up with spray tan and bad hairspray and...
Okay, so it was something he did when he was a teenager in El Paso a long, long time ago. He said he later regretted the writings during an interview with a podcast in Iowa. I'm mortified to read it now, incredibly embarrassed, but I have to take ownership of my words. I have to look long and hard at my actions, and I have to constantly try to do better, he says, blah, blah, blah. What I'm trying to find out is what party he's wanting to... Okay, even before he kicked off... Oh, hang on. Oh, God, please.
He was a Democrat. He was a Democrat, but I don't know what party he's running. I mean,
Okay, even before he kicked off his presidential bid on Wednesday night, O'Rourke was the subject of intense speculation and media coverage stemming from his unexpected close finish in an untimely, unsuccessful Senate bid against Republican Ted Cruz.
Right. Yeah, he went against... He was a representative in the... he's a representative in the House 3-term. Oh, Jesus.
I don't know what party... It's not saying anything about what party.
Hey.
Psychedelic warlord went on to note this would be impossible to achieve without bringing down the government. Oh my God. Wax my ass, scrub my balls, Psychedelic warlord wrote. The cow has risen, provide milk. Oh my God.
We just did something about talking about what somebody said years and years ago, but
that's what I'm saying. It's like, wow. Wait a minute. Okay, but see, here's the... You know how like some shoes just don't fit for everybody? One size does not fit all. It's not just Coke or Pepsi. So we're talking about Gunn making a stupid tweet, and he is directing a movie. Hollywood, hello. He's liberal anyway. Okay, he's very staunch liberal, but I still like his shit. I'm not, This guy, the reason that what this guy said is important is because he's putting his name in the hat for the government to run the country, to help be a part of serving the country. Oh my God. Okay, I have to read the, oh my God. Another archived psychedelic warlord piece for the Cult of the Dead Cow was a 1988 interview with a neo-Nazi street preacher. You ready for this? In that piece, psychedelic warlord described the person's beliefs as horrible and said they shared Nazi's perspective because they do not support neo-Nazism in any way, but also do not believe in censorship. Psychedelic warlord also wrote, I can't even say that without laughing, that their own ideology in one 1987 file where they envisioned a society without money.
Oh, God.
I don't want to hear another bad thing about Trump from anybody. I mean, come on. A businessman who ran with Tupac at Studio 54 is now running our country, and you guys want to bitch about what he's doing, and yet there is a candidate, which I still haven't figured out which side he's going on. I'm going to Google that in a second. There's a candidate who is putting his name in the hat to run for president who went by the name Psychedelic Warlord.
That's the world we live in nowadays.
Wax my ass and scrub my balls, he says.
Wax my ass and scrub my balls.
Democratic Party! Democratic Party!
All right. Take it down a few notches. Take it down.
Robert Francis Beto O'Rourke is an American businessman and politician from the Democratic Party who represented Texas's 16th congressional district 3 terms in the House of Representatives. Oh my God. You're right. It is a male version of AOC.
It's a male version of AOC. Just telling you. Oh,
O'Rourke is 46. Bernie Sanders is 77. Does age matter for Democrats?
Not really. I don't think Bernie has a chance, though. Here's the problem with Bernie. This is a guy that was fighting so hard against Hillary and then came out for her when it was all over.
Yeah,
I think
he dropped it. He fell on his sword. Ball. Yeah. O'Rourke entered the Democratic primary race this week with an aspirational pitch and semi-improvisational tour of Iowa with a Hawkeyes baseball cap and a bilingual profanity on the stump, broadcasting his message of generational uplift and immediate thrusting age into the current 2020 race. Oh, God. No.
Anyway.
So yet again. Okay, so here's where you can tell my affiliation. I'm conservative, obviously, and if I could find a libertarian or an independent who fits with my personal desires for this country, I would probably lean towards them. But for this argument, for this podcast, for this moment, I'm going to make a statement. Yet again, the Democrats are showing us why they need to be removed. Oh, God.
Hey.
AOC's going to jail. Oh, and you guys want a guy that was known as psychedelic warlord. You Dems. Aw, aren't you guys so cute? Aren't you guys just so cute?
Anyway, on that note, I think that's a podcast. Because I got nothing to top that all. I just don't.
I can't. I'm just
done.
I'm gonna go with the millennial snowflake of I just can't. I'm gonna go get a Starbucks latte and a scone and sit with my mocha choca bullshit, and I'm gonna go sit in the corner and I'm gonna cry myself to sleep with my thunder blanket and juice box. This country.
Okay, say goodnight, Rachel.
Good night, Rachel.
Done.
Thanks for joining us here at the Department of Understanding Humans, also known as DUH. Just remember, this is our circus. These are our monkeys. Be sure to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and other social media outlets. You can find all of our podcasting streams and feeds at our website at www.dawebsite.com. That's D.U.H website.com. Thanks again for joining us, and have a great day.